couple more comparisons before we go into the final portion of this presentation. The regenerative economy, again, volume is mutable. It expands based on the time invested. Extractive economy, volume is fixed. It compartmentalizes things into governments, into organizations, into entities where the volume is fixed and controlling interest can be maintained, and their equity, their power grows based on competitiveness. The price is fixed in a regenerative economy at $1.25 an hour, so that everybody can be involved and everybody can share and everybody can grow too. I mean, that's the thing. We're gonna talk a little bit about the conflict between socialism and capitalism, but this is here now. This is available. Anybody can be involved, and we're generous about opportunity. There's an abundance of opportunity. In the extractive economy, the price is mutable. It's based on competitive variables. It's intended to shake out the little guy and consolidate the power of the big money. Market share, based on an economy comprised of 68 trillion hours a year. Again, if we maintain kind of like a 7.8 billion population with a 72-year life expectancy, that's almost 5 quadrillion hours. That's huge. That's huge. And if that kind of energy is dedicated towards solving the planetary problems, $277 trillion debt is nothing. So their market share is based on an economy comprised of $277 trillion debt. And that's what it is. It's not money. It's not assets. It's debt. Psychological concept. That's it. Just as time. Time is a psychological concept. In a regenerative economy, the trend analysis is based on how quickly, the velocity rate, it helps people to understand material like this. And I understand this is a lot. I am throwing the mother load at you. And it's just an introductory. It's just an introductory. But the more this information, people come into contact with information, the more people start to practice it, the more it's going to influence. It's going to influence the global economy. So we analyze trends by how quickly it takes people to understand material like this. And I understand it's very foreign, it's very alien at the moment. But keep asking yourself those questions from the beginning. Trend analysis is based on supply and demand. It is competitive. So that's important. That's where emotional intelligence and kind of like evolution of our consciousness comes in. Where this extractive economy is based on competitiveness, it taps into those baser emotions like anger and fear and jealousy and guilt and shame. And then what we do is we have those deep dive conversations to understand why we're feeling those things, so that we can feel more experiences like trust, like determination and willingness, like forgiveness, and then ultimately clarity, love, joy, peace. Because our reward in the regenerative economy is great. So back on the extractive side of things, the big money, we sometimes we call them the global elite. There's a lot of names for them, but to me, they're just very, very intelligent psychologists, but very little emotional intelligence. The big money controls the market by retaining majority shares. The system is debt-based. We know that. Power flows up, debt flows down. That's how the power is solidified. Polarization is done by creating the conflict between economic theories. So look, we've been at war for years and years and years, and what's behind this warlike mentality is the conflict between capitalism and socialism. They're both concepts. That's it. It's just a difference of opinion that is very superficial. One has the theory that more government would be helpful. One has the idea that less government would be helpful. But both are dependent upon a system that is extrinsic, that is outside of yourself. So bring those concepts together, socialism and capitalism. You bring them together. You transcend the polarity. You have the concept of social capitalism or social capital. That's where we are honored for the gifts and the value and the aptitudes that we bring to society as an individual. So if we can bridge that gap between socialism and capitalism and develop our individual social capital, then we've come a long way as a species. We've come a long way. Centralization is the goal with the extractive economy. Consolidate power for the 1% of the 1%, keep the other 99.99% in the dark. In the regenerative economy, your investment of time determines the ownership of shares. Okay, so the big money controls the majority shares in a financial system. In a regenerative economy, the investment of time determines the ownership of your shares. So the more you put into it, the more your value becomes. The more you share, the more you're generous, the more you're sharing, the more, exponentially your value is going to grow. System is time-based, and it creates exponential returns. I'm going to go into my guarantees here in a little bit. If you want to continue this conversation with me, if what I'm saying to you resonates, then I'm going to show you how your time investment will create exponential financial returns as we're developing this regenerative economy. Power is reallocated through equal partnerships. Okay, so we're recognizing how everybody has value. Not everybody's a leader. I understand that. Not everybody has vision. I understand that. But everybody does have value. So power becomes reallocated by how well we're able to honestly communicate everybody else's value, recognizing value. So instead of compartmentalizing and blocking people away from knowing their value, we encourage people to develop their intelligence, develop their aptitudes, develop their skills within an equal partnership arrangement. Debt becomes reversed. Polarization is transcended. And we do that by observing individuals' social capital. So decentralization is the goal. So there you go. I'll let you take a look at that for a moment while I have another sip of coffee. But that is the differences in intentions. And that's how we interrupt the extractive economy. Okay. All right. Okay. So just to kind of give you a takeaway now, the extractive economy is based on a $277 trillion debt and counting. So this is probably the third time I've said that, but repetition is the key to getting this ingrained. Okay. What that means is everybody is being exploited to the tune of $4.07 and growing. You're seen as a liability. Your hour, your time is seen as a liability. And that's per capita. Every individual hour, every person, you're seen as a liability in this economy. So you're exploited. So what that means is we're all being exploited to the tune of $35,512 annually. So I don't care how successful your business is in the competitive environment. I don't care how much money, how many cars, how many homes, how many vacations you take. It doesn't matter. There's still a $277 trillion debt and growing, and every single person is being exploited to the tune of $35,000 a year. It doesn't matter if you're homeless. It doesn't matter if you're one of the wealthiest people in the world. That's your value per capita. So over the lifetime, that means all of us are being exploited for $2.556 million over a 72-year average lifespan. That is what greed and corruption is costing you. Regenerative economy, 68 trillion hours annually. So let's break that down. So that's 4.896 quadrillion hours spread out over a 72-year life expectancy. We'll put a value to that. Let's say it's $1. It's a $1 asset per hour per capita. as opposed to the $4.07 liability currently in the current system. That would quickly reverse the debt effect. So if we're looking at a $277 trillion debt that was reversed, you know, your assets, you know, you would have an average bank account of $35,512 because services are being exchanged equally within a time bank. You know, you can have an average bank account, you know, of 35,000 at all times. You know, so that can help you, you know, that can help you buy a home, buy a car, give to society, you know, and help, you know, help organizations grow more organically. But let's take that one step further. Okay, if we assign a dollar value to everybody's hour within that 4.896 quadrillion hours, what that really means is your average bank account would be 699,857. You know, and that's just average. You're going to have expenses, but you're also going to earn through investing. You know, so that's the average. That's the average. Corruption, competitiveness, greed, fear. It's costing every single person on this earth an average of $700,000 of a bank account balance. This is why there is so much invested in trafficking, poverty, war, hunger, and manipulation. It gets to the point where we start to lie to ourselves. Okay, so if what I presented today has meaning, holds value to you, and if you want to have this conversation with me personally, I'm running a certification program. So, so I want you to get really good at this, and I want you to be everything that you can be. And if you've stuck with me this far into the presentation, I think it's safe to say that we're meant to work with each other. So here are some of the details that if you want to continue with me, this is what I'm offering. There's two programs. There's the Fellowship Facilitator Program, and there's the Time Bank Brokerage Program. You can take both at the same time. You can take one after the other. You can take one or the other. There's no limits, but what I offer is 10 hours of group study. I want to start to develop new fellowships where, you know, we dedicate 10 hours to understanding this idea of fellowship. There will be 10 hours of independent study that that will be, you know, part of your learning and part of how you generate the hours to create financial return. You will participate in a fellowship. So I will facilitate a fellowship with you and 3 or 4 others. And then you will also facilitate your own fellowship. So you will create a curriculum and you know, you will start to, you know, you'll start to do your own thing. And we honor you doing your own thing. You design your own course. So a lot of this is geared towards helping making information like this more accessible. And I understand that upon a first viewing, it might not be completely accessible, but you start to learn how to integrate it into what you're doing, what you're already doing to help others understand their value. You will have access and the right to distribute the video of your journey of fellowship facilitating and fellowship participating. That'll be a very strong tool to help you communicate to others as you're developing. And look, you know, what I'm doing today, it's not polished. It's not an end product. It's always a process. So I do this presentation every month and I learn new things. I incorporate new things. And I encourage others to do the same. It's a process. It's not a product. And the video content rights will help people to understand as you're understanding, you know, how you are developing, how you're your business, your art, your material, your content continues to develop, and you become an owner of the time bank. Um, so yeah, that's one of the things we're really focused on right now in fellowship is going from the mentality that I have to communicate information to help you feel confident to work with me. We're going from that mentality to the mentality of what experiences now are we co-creating, are we co-stewarding in order for you to take ownership of a banking system. The time bank brokerage certification is the same thing, 10 hours group study, 10 hours of independent study. We will have a comprehensive time banking curriculum. So you will understand the history and the mechanics of time banking. There will be a comprehensive reverse market mechanics curriculum. So today's presentation was a very good introduction to how the numbers work, how the mechanics work. So then we start going deeper into history. We go deeper into psychology. We go deeper into the connection between psychology, history, and the microeconomics and the macroeconomics. The microeconomics is time banking. The macroeconomics is reverse market mechanics. Again, video content rights. If you're having trouble explaining this to somebody, you can show somebody a video where we all talk about it, and hopefully there will be that process of where the light bulb's going on for you, and it continues to go on for you, and you can share that journey with others. So not only would you be a member, but for those who successfully complete the course, you would become an administrator as well. And we will discuss ways on how we intend to expand, how we intend to share this information, and how to leverage what you're already doing to contribute. And that's something I want to say too. There are a lot of great methods. There's a lot of great philosophies. There's a lot of great content. Crypto being an option. I like talking about what happened a few weeks ago with the GameStop stock, and how the Reddit readers kind of reversed the system. I think that was a very powerful story. So there are a lot of ways people are emerging. So this information is not intended to contradict anything of what's already going on and what's working. It's just meant to help individuals find the intersections. All right, so here's the guarantees. If you want to continue this conversation, and if you are interested in pursuing this material further, and and becoming certified, and working with me personally as well, and working with my partners, this is what I'm guaranteeing. Here's the drum roll. And I make these guarantees, take them very seriously. I'm guaranteeing you will make a 7-figure return on your investment within 2 years, within probably, I think it's like 18 months. So yeah, I mean, specifically, I'm predicting a $1,048,000 return, for everybody who starts to become involved with this material early on. I will be honest with you, full disclosure, I have not done that. But that's because I think it's because we still have yet to have the deep dive conversations where we talk about realistically how that does happen. I would like to make a 6-figure annual income as a facilitator broker, and I want to share that information with you. So I'm guaranteeing that the deeper we have this conversation, the more I can safely say that you will make six figures a year, just doing what I'm doing. So again, I haven't done it personally, full disclosure, but I'm willing to make that guarantee because it takes more courageousness, it takes more vulnerability than cleverness. So yeah, so there's more information available too to help you facilitate that decision. Again, I guarantee that you'll be able to implement what you're already passionate about. You can implement what you are already doing. So again, this information is not meant to contradict. It's not meant to compete. It's meant to take what you're already doing just add a little layer of knowledge on how the mechanics of money markets and time management work so that you can help participate in saving lives. Um, you know, and again, I make these guarantees, but that's really what it's about: saving lives from corruptive practices. I guarantee that you'll have a supportive team because that's what it's all geared towards: reciprocity, giving and taking, mutuality. Um, so yeah, if you find that you're not getting the support that you have wanted or needed, then that's a priority for us. We want to make sure you're feeling supported because again, it just hit me while I'm going through these guarantees. It's not about the money. It's about saving lives. It's about improving the quality of life. And if that is your intention, then you will have a supportive team at your back. All of your independent study hours are redeemable. So regardless of your financial commitment to this program, everything, all that you put into it still counts and it still will accrue you that financial return of the 7-figure return on investment. So even if you, so even if you invest your time, but you want your money back, for taking the course, you'll still make that. And then there's the money back guarantee. At the end of your 20 hours of study, or at the end of your 40 hours of study, if you take both, I guarantee that if you feel that these guarantees that I'm making right here on this page are not realistic or something that you don't feel you can personally attain, give you back your money. No questions asked. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, how much is it? How do I get involved? I'm not going to give that here because this is not about money for me. It's about deepening the relationship. And I will say this, that if you come to me, if you come to this with an honest heart, I'm not going to turn you away. And I'm not going to charge you. So what happens next? If this appeals to you and you want to take it to the next step, here's what you can do. Email me. My email address is admin@karmicmargincall.com. Okay. I don't have a landing page. I don't have a one-page website yet. If you're serious about it, just email me, admin@karmicmargincall.com. In the subject line, just write the word questionnaire. I'm going to send you a 15-question analysis or a 15-question conversation starter where we talk about transcending those roadblocks, the cultural divisiveness, the competitive conditioning, and the extractive economy. So it really helps us both to determine whether or not this is the right path, for you, and the timing might not be right. And that's something that we determine as well too. So take the questionnaire, email it back to me at admin@karmicmargincall.com. Once I receive that back and I have a chance to review it with my team, I will send you a program quote. And again, it's not intended to be extractive. It's not intended to be, it's not a lot of money. I'll just say that. It just helps me as well to kind of get through this transition period where we are going from an extractive to a regenerative economy. And like I said, let's have that conversation. If what I come back to you with seems too much for your personal experience, and again, if you are experiencing poverty or if you are experiencing financial hardship, I'm not going to turn you away. We can always take that entry from the entry fee from the return on your investment. That's fine. But I'm not going to turn you away. But I will send you a quote. And again, I'm keeping in mind the quote is based on the fact that I was in poverty once. In a sense, I kind of still am. But it's important to support each other. In the interim, please feel free to review the 5-year plan. That video presentation is at karmicmargincall.com. So the link to that is also there as well. And finally, if you feel compelled, you can join our time bank. Just click on the space that says click here for application at karmicmargincall.com. And that is it. Wow. What time is that? Is that 7 o'clock? About an hour and a half. All right, that was good. That was good. It went by like nothing. So thank you. Thank you. If you did watch the entire presentation, I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Just in summary, I just want to say, let's just change the world. There are people dying needlessly. There are governments, corporations that are just doing the wrong things for the wrong reasons. And it's going to take some emotional maturity. It's going to take a lot of honesty and vulnerability, but we can do it. We can do it together. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you for joining me today. And, bless. God bless. Thank you.